Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and today we have another vlog. It is Friday after work, so I'm hoping to get 2 books finished this weekend, but who knows? We'll see if that happens. The books I have here are The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This is a YA rom-com. This is the author of Better Than the Movies, which I read I think in 2021, and I was really surprised because I hadn't read YA contemporary romance in a while that was to my liking, and so I really had a lot of fun with that one. We'll see about this though. I'm kind of scared that I mostly like Better Than the Movies just because I was surprised. It's been too long at this point for me to remember exactly. So I kind of want to do the thing where I say I don't think I'm gonna like this just so I can surprise myself again, but it's like subconsciously I know that I'm hoping for the best. That was confusing. So let's move on to the second book. How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. In October, I think I read 2 of Grady Hendrix's books. I read My Best Friend's Exorcism and The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I gave them both 4.5. I really have this book close to my heart because it involved teenage girls and that's just my thing. But both of these had some really creepy shit going on and both of them had very disgusting things happen. And so I am a little nervous. Like, what are we gonna get? So yeah, I got a romance and I think this is horror, and I'll talk about them each as I start to read them. Some other things I'm doing this weekend, just boring shit. I'm gonna go grocery shopping. Wow. I got an Nespresso machine, so I'll probably show you all the lattes I'm making. Actually, the first day I got it, I was so pissed at it and I was sure it was haunted. Like, not even kidding. First of all, it took me so long to figure out how to work it because the directions sucked. I had to eventually watch YouTube videos to try to figure out how to clean it and turn it on and use it. But that night, all this crazy weird things started happening. Like, my mother-in-law gave me these crystals to hang and one of them fell from a great height. It didn't shatter, but I don't know. I was like, oh my God, haunted. And then I went to go brew a decaf espresso late at night to show my husband, and I turned around to get the milk. The thing vibrated so hard that it knocked my favorite mug on the floor and shattered it. I almost started crying just because I was having the shittiest day up until that point. And I swear I thought the thing was haunted. But so far, nothing bad's happened, and I've come to really love my Nespresso machine. Maybe it's just warmed up to me. Like, maybe it didn't know about me and it was like, should I haunt this bitch or let's give her a break? I think we're friends now. All right, I'm gonna start The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. Again, author of Better Than the Movies. She also has quite a few adult romances. I think I tried this one and it just wasn't clicking with me, so I never finished it. Let's find out what this is about. Okay, it's basically a Groundhog's Day situation where she ends up having to relive the same day over and over and over again, except it's on Valentine's Day and it happens to be the day that she finds out her boyfriend cheats on her. I love a Groundhog's Day situation. I don't know what it is. I know some people hate that, but this book, what is it? Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I love that book. I reread it every few years. I even like the movie. It was just so good. Obviously, this is the calm version of that. I'm guessing it's gonna be that vibe. Actually, I think that had something similar happen in here. I think it was Valentine's Day because they were exchanging flowers or something in their school. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that book. I also saw that Scribd has this as an audiobook, so maybe I'll try the audiobook too. So the main character's name is Emily. Her boyfriend Josh is a dipshit and he's the one who cheats on her. And then there's some guy, Nick, who she keeps running into, who's obviously this dude, right? I feel like this is gonna put me in such a good little mood, so I'm gonna get started. Look how cute this dedication is. Guys, I'm about halfway through and I'm DNFing this. This is not good. I feel like there's definitely potential to even make it turn around, but it's not going well. Okay, I understand why people don't like this trope anymore, because if it's not original, it feels redundant and lazy. Ooh, that's mean. I'm so sorry. It feels like when you daydream about the situation happening, but you're not doing a good job daydreaming. Oh gosh. It's just cringe. It's not very well done in my opinion. I did try out the audiobook and wow, I feel like the narrator's doing a good job being like dramatic and teenagery. I just don't feel like reading this because I've read it 100 times before in better ways. I kind of want to reread Before I Fall now, because that was good. Although I did read that in high school, so maybe that's like marring my perception here, but I think maybe because that one was so serious, it wasn't as trivial feeling as this one, because I don't know, this isn't good, okay? So I am 25% through How to Sell a Haunted House Now by Grady Hendrix, and I can already tell a few things. Let me tell you what it's about though. It's about two siblings, brother and sister, who hate each other. Right now we're in the perspective of the sister, Louise, but I think we might get, I feel like I read another synopsis that said we might get both perspectives, except the brother is really annoying. His name is Mark, and he is just kind of very different from Louise. Louise is very make a to-do list kind of girl, and Mark gets fired from bartender jobs like every other week. But their parents pass away, and Louise goes back home. She lives in like San Francisco, and she has to go back to Charleston to deal with this, and they are just fighting. And I can already tell that this is gonna be probably book long, this sort of frustration between these siblings. I hope they band together, or maybe, I don't know, because right now they're both kind of getting on my nerves. At the point I just stopped reading, their parents' funeral has taken place and the reading of the will. I guess they're gonna have to sell the house eventually, based on the title of this book. The creepy part is that the mom, she loved puppets and she loved weird art, and they were just kind of a weird family, I think. When Louise goes home and checks on the house, when she first gets back to Charleston, she notices that her mom has all these dolls, and there's a TV that keeps turning itself on to like a doll infomercial. Her mom also had this favorite puppet that she had since she was a little girl, and both the kids hate it because they're like jealous of the attention that their mother gave it. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And it's kind of funny how I'm seeing parts of my life in this book, because first of all, my brother and I are in a huge fight for the past 6 months and we haven't spoken. Not getting into the family drama of that, but we were best friends as kids, so it's not quite like this level, but it's kind of a little too close to home at this point. And Louise talks about how the Velveteen Rabbit, her mother used to read to her over and over again, and her mother loved it. She thought it was so great, but Louise was traumatized by it. And that is one of the first stories I ever heard, because my mother, oh my gosh, I'm getting way too personal right now. My mom left when I was little, but I have a memory of her reading me The Velveteen Rabbit, and she left me the book. And I was so fucking traumatized by that book. Basically, it's about how this stuffed animal is really loved by this kid, but then he gets some sort of like horrible sickness back in the day, and he has to like burn all the presents, or all of his toys, including the bunny. But I guess if you're weathered and loved enough as a stuffed animal, you turn into a real animal at some point. And I guess it's supposed to be uplifting, but honestly, the fact that my mother who abandoned me gave me this book about a toy who was like abandoned, it was no. I hate that story now, and so it's funny that Louise was traumatized as well. Although her parents, as weird and kooky and maybe passive aggressive as they might be, sounded like they were good parents. The other thing that is kind of close to home is that this mother was obsessed with this puppet who she found when she was 7, or she got when she was 7, and as she was married, she just hung out with this stuffed animal all the time. And I have a stuffed animal who's also a puppet who is the love of my life. I know that's weird. And I have mentioned Wrinkles, here he is, on my channel before, and I realized that it was while I was reading, I think, my best friend's exorcism, because they said his brand. He is the Wrinkles Pound Puppy, TM. Also, don't pay attention to his nose. I got ink on it at one point. But yeah, he's my beloved stuffed animal that I found when I was 7, and I've never not slept with him at night, despite the fact that I'm 28 years old and married. And he's a puppet. Hi. The thing is, I think that all of these stuffed animals and dolls and stuff are gonna turn on Louise and her brother, and it's gonna be really creepy and scary. There's already been a scary, gross thing that happened that kind of reminded me of the cockroach scene in the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, if you know what I'm talking about. That was only in the first 25%. I can only imagine what kind of bullshit I'm about to get into. So yeah, I'm worried. I'm also so over this family squabble, because if my brother, well, part of the reason we're in this big, huge fight is because he was acting like this. And I was like, not gonna have anything to do with it. Total silence. Again, I am oversharing so much right now, so I'm just gonna hold Wrinkles tight. But if I were Louise, I wouldn't give a shit about any of this, and I'd go home. I would go home to my daughter. She is a mother, but I am excited for the level of creep, because this is the kind of creep that creeps me out. Because I really do sometimes think that inanimate objects are real. Literally 2 days ago, I was setting aside clothes that I've had forever that I never wear anymore because they're either worn out, have holes in them, or whatever. And I felt so bad putting them in the trash bag. I literally had to kiss them. Like, I have issues, clearly. Guys, this book is nuts. It's silly, 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 and creepy, creepy, creepy. I am halfway through now, and something crazy happened. There was an ew part, more like a bodily injury part, that I literally had to put the book down and go, ah! But yeah, this is like ridiculously scary in like a kind of funny way, so that makes it a little better. Also, it's kind of adding, as was a little bit in the other Grady Hendrix books I read, where it's like, is this actually happening, or is this like in someone's head? So yeah, we are going to go out with some friends for dinner. Hopefully I can read more when I get home, but I feel like I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna hug Wrinkles like I do every single night. It's gonna be a little weird.
Mud pie or something like that.
All right, I just finished the book. This was the silliest horror book I've ever read. And I think that's good and bad. I think it was a little long, not gonna lie, and there were a couple parts, especially near the end, that really reminded me of Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and My Best Friend's Exorcism, and those were both parts I didn't really enjoy in those books. I do think that this would be a fun movie, like scary and funny movie to see, and I'm picturing myself watching it with my friends in high school, and I would absolutely eat it up. But I don't think it's the kind of book that is really sitting with me. There are elements in it that remind me of Mother Thing, which is one of my favorite books of last year, if not my favorite book, but it didn't hit the same because there is this silliness in here, where in that one it was crazy. So yeah, I don't know what to think. I am a little disappointed. I don't know what to rate this. I think maybe a 3.5. I don't know what to think right now. Maybe I should think on it. I feel like this got so ridiculous it stopped being scary. I don't know how that could have been prevented given the contents of it. So I'm gonna shut up about it because I've been talking most of this video about it. It's like 4 p.m. on Sunday, and I feel like I should just finish this book. So we're gonna go grocery shopping. I have to cook dinner, but I'm gonna listen to this audiobook and I'm gonna finish it, and sadly probably give it like a 2 or 3, but at least I'll have finished another book. Guys, I tried to listen to not very much of this at all, and I couldn't do it. There was just this scene where we're in the day where the main character decides that there are no repercussions, and she's just gonna like tell people off who are bitchy, and there's this popular girl group, and of course they're assholes, and our main character's just like, you're such a bitch. And I can't deal with it, so I'm just gonna DNF it. If you have read this and you finished it, let me know if it's worth it, because I could be talked into a cute ending or listening to a cute ending. Maybe I'll listen to it while I'm working one day. I don't know. I don't need it right now. So sadly, that's the end of the vlog. And I feel like it was a little bit more lackluster than I was hoping. I was really hoping this was gonna be like a 4.5, and I was hoping for at least a 3 here, but yeah, it didn't really work out. That being said though, this is a good book and I'm glad I read it. And I really liked, I think the first half half for sure. Let me know your thoughts on both of these, but especially this, how you would rank this among Grady Hendrix's other books if you've read his other books. Right now, this is my least favorite of his, but it's still, well, it's better than this book, okay? All right, I'm gonna go edit this and hopefully put it on the internet for you. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.